Namaskar. In our channel, we have introduced many yogic practices. And there are a series of videos that Dada Shiilabhadrananda did in which he talked about the 16 points. So you may say that the 16 points are the yogic lifestyle in a systematic way. And within those 16 points, maybe another 70, 80 subpoints. In other words, there are many activities that we could do together which create this new spiritualized human being, as it were. So I'm going to talk about 3 of those practices today, which recently I stumbled upon, which I found when I did them together, they increase my energy level, they improve my meditation, and they make my brain function much better than otherwise. And there's a 4th one which is not part of these 3 because it involves a little bit more effort. It's more of a challenge to achieve. But it's also very important if we want to even go into a subtler and subtler levels of consciousness and good health. You know, my master talked about system, and that when things are done in a systematic way, then there's 99% chance of good output. But when we do things unsystematically, the result may or may not be fruitful. And so the 16 points are this system for spiritual practice, for holistic development, you may say. It reminds me of when I was working in Africa, I visited the city of Lagos. This was many years ago. It may have changed now. But back in those years, back in the 80s, there was huge traffic jams. And there was just, you could only do one thing because it will take you 5 hours to go from your house to the town and come back again. Traffic was so congested. And to augment the problem, when there's a slight bump of cars, because there's so many cars there, the passengers will get out and they'll start hugging each other or they'll start fighting each other because, people are impatient with all of the traffic that slows everything down. And I was also in Singapore. There, those 5 million people, they have a very systematic plan of their city. And so even rush hour, you don't feel any hesitation to drive because there's a free flow of traffic. And, there's a t-shirt that I saw in Singapore. It says, Singapore is a fine city. But in the back, it says, $50 fine littering, $100 fine spitting on the sidewalk, $200 fine for jaywalking, crossing the road in a diagonal way. So a bit of a play on words. So now I introduce these 3 practices. When we put them together, they synergize to create some unique effect on our physical and mental well-being. First one is called leg flex. In Sanskrit, it's called Utkepa Mudra. This is one of the yoga exercises that we teach in our channel. In his book, Yogic Treatment and Natural Remedies, my master talked about different diseases and how they could be remedied through different exercises like the yoga asanas and diet, lifestyle, and so on. And the main problem with disease, as he explains in the book, is constipation. That what we eat, it does not get properly assimilated, digested, and those toxic juices and waste remain in the system and weaken all the internal organs. So it's very important that we have good evacuation of the bowels. This prevents constipation, of course. So the leg flex does that. So how it's done? First thing in the morning, we're lying, we just woke up. So we're lying down, maybe on the bed or on wherever we sleep. And we bring the knees, we flex the knees, bring them to the chest, wrap the arms around the knees, and then kick out, okay? So we may hold the leg position for 8 seconds and kick out. So we will do this 8 times, okay? And then we'll take a glass of water, which is sitting by the bedside, and we'll drink that, maybe with a straw. We haven't brushed our teeth yet. And then we'll go about our morning duties. Maybe we'll brush our teeth, take a bath, probably do our meditation, and so on and so forth. But in that time, it's very likely that one will evacuate the bowels. Because of this leg flex movement, it creates this peristaltic movement of the colon, and it helps to push out anything which is there. So it's a very beautiful practice. And I know many of my Indian colleagues, they will not meditate in the morning until they've cleared the bowels. And it is particularly one Dada. I lived with him, and this was his regular habit. And I found recently, because of this, meditation is very, very, very deep, because there's no blockage in the flow inside the spinal column. The energy flow inside the spine is very free. And so concentration is naturally improved. So that's the first. Second is the yogic breath. We've talked about it before in different videos, but the yogic breath means it complements the first practice of the leg flex, because when we breathe slowly and deeply, especially filling the upper, middle, lower lung, and we breathe out, that lower lung, when we're emptying it, it activates the apana vayu. There's 10 vital airs inside and outside the body. So the vital air inside the body is called apana. It operates from the navel to the anus. And so anything that is below, in these lower three chakras, it comes out of the body, whether it's urine, stool, and so on. And so by doing the yogic breath properly, deep breathing, and this leg flex, we're activating this apana vayu. And so it's very easy to remove constipation from our system. So this is the second. And of course, yogic breathing, we know. It was Sadashiva, that the first yogi of the tantric tradition, which we follow. He was the one who discovered the science of breath control, swarasa, okay? Because the body, the mind, they move and flow with breath. So when our body's in motion, our breathing is very fast. If our mind is agitated, breathing is very fast. So we cannot concentrate well at that moment. So breath control, or pranayama as it's called, is the way to slow the breath, pause the breath, and this brings deeper levels of concentration and perception. So, and naturally, I been living recently in our organic farm, and it's so quiet. You can just enjoy the silence of the surroundings, and this makes for an introverted mind. And after all, the goal of meditation, to make the mind completely and totally still, silent, without thought. So that which is within the mind, that consciousness, that loving universal entity, manifests itself, and this is the joy that we get in deep meditation. So introverts are naturally they're more quiet, and they do great things. My master used to call such workers silent workers. It's a great compliment, because they let their actions speak louder than their words, as we say in English. So this yogic breath facilitates this, and I remember two of my colleagues. One of them was very, very talkative. The yogis say that the tongue is the most dangerous organ. Why? Because with the tongue, we eat food. So if we don't control that tongue, the taste, we may overeat and cause problems. And we speak with the tongue. So if we talk too much, we may say the wrong things or hurt people's feelings, and so on and so forth. So that's why the yogic tradition emphasizes silence, at least 30 minutes every day during working hours, if possible. So one of my colleagues, very, very talkative, that nobody likes to be around him, because you cannot get away and do what you want to do. And another of my colleagues, he loved that inner world. He was very introverted, and he did great things. He started a guinea worm project in West Africa, providing drinking water for thousands of villagers in the country of Ghana, in the rural parts of that country. So this is an example of the effectiveness and importance of yogic breath. And, in that continuum there's consciousness, energy, and then matter. So when we are able to control because that prana, that energy, vital energy, it's within air. Air is subtler than food and water. So that energy, that vital energy, it's in food, it's in water, but it's in its most prevalent form in air. So when we are able to access that vital energy, that prana we call, then we can develop tremendous abilities and mental capacities. by controlling this prana and directing it into certain centers in the body, which is part of higher meditation practice, which we teach. So the third takeaway is the third practice combining together is water drinking. So drinking enough water every day is very important because water is the most important lubricant to help all those chemical reactions that take place every second in our bodies. And the brain is having more water than the rest of the body. Although the body is about 70% water, the brain even more. So it needs ample fluid to work well. So when we're drinking enough water, the food and nutrients that we've eaten, properly digested, assimilated, and provide nourishment for the body. But what is the secret to water drinking? Well, how much is needed to drink? It's recommended 3.5 to 4 liters, 4.5 liters every day. That seems like a lot. It is in the beginning. But what is the secret? Drink a little bit. 1 cup, okay? Frequently. So keep a water bottle, a 1 liter water bottle if you can, and drink 1 cup frequently. Maybe in the gap of 15 minutes or a little bit more. And in this way, before breakfast, you can finish a liter. Between breakfast and lunch, another liter. Between lunch and dinner, a third liter. And then after dinner, maybe 1 or 2 cups. So you've easily fit in your 3.5 to 4.5 liters or 4 liters. And one of my colleagues, he's 71 years old. He is so young. His body's so flexible. His mind is so fast. His meditation he's joyful. And it's because he drinks water like this, at least 4 liters every day. Another of my colleagues, unfortunately, he was never in the habit of drinking water, and he developed cancer. So water drinking is the third takeaway, combined with the leg flex, the yogic breathing, and water drinking. And the fourth, which is, these first 3 require nothing at all. The last one requires a water bottle. And the fourth one, that's quite difficult to achieve. It's not really necessary also, because if we're following the 16 points, the different practices that we teach, then our health is usually a very, very optimal level already. But, sometimes where we are, where we live, the food we have to eat, it might create some health problems. The fourth one is if we can reduce or eliminate sugar from our diet. When I was in India and I met my master those years, the protocol is that when you leave the master, you give a garland. And so as I was giving the garland, he said, Shiilabhadrananda, my chocolate boy. So chocolate in India is like sweet, no? It doesn't mean chocolate in that sense as we know it, maybe in the West, but sweet. So I thought, I'm been given permission to enjoy sweets. So maybe I overdid it. I'm sure I did. But fortunately, I've realized that, it was the cause of some of my health problems. And I've been very, very careful recently. And I've seen tremendous change in my energy level, in my meditation, in my digestion power. And they go together. So if one can reduce, I don't take any dried fruits anymore. And, I used to live on our farm in South Korea. And there we have 7 persimmon trees. Persimmon is to Korea what apples are to North America. So, they're everywhere. And I used to make the dried persimmon, and, that has a lot of sugar. So in this way, when I took that determination, and it's very possible, I wasn't attached, I could reduce and eliminate no high glycemic fruits also, no added sugars, whether it's honey, molasses, maple syrup, very popular here in North America, or raw sugar. In this way, the body, because research shows that sugar is the cause of body inflammation. It feeds that unhealthy bacteria in our gut. So it reduces the flow of messages from the gut to the brain, the second brain in the gut to the brain. And it also feeds cancer cells. So that's why we should reduce as much as we can our sugar intake. So these are the 3 that require no extra, equipment. And the fourth, it can be done over time, slowly and gradually, maybe a 10-year plan to reduce. And it may or may not be needed, you can see. So, and most important of all, following that systematized spiritual lifestyle, the 16 points, our meditation, yoga asanas, the spiritual dance, and the yamas and niyamas, moral principles, all together, we will reach a new level of unlimited energy, deep mental peace, and inner joy. Good luck, and share your comments in the chat so we can learn from each other about these ideas. Thank you so much. Namaskar.